This is a New Age fairy tale. It comes complete with organic gardens and solar-powered hot tubs.
My darling, I had an Indian medicine man here named Coat who blessed the house from the Chumash Indians before we got in.
You may recognize John Paul DeJoria and his trademark ponytail from ads for Paul Mitchell beauty products.
We live in a world of illusions. You see something, you think it's real. Sometimes it is.
Sometimes it's not.
But of all his products, John Paul's greatest creation may be himself.
I was homeless when I started this company, and I haven't forgotten what it's like to be homeless.
14 years ago, John Paul's home was a car. Today, he's viewing life from a different perspective, most recently from this 21,000 square foot house on Malibu's highest peak.
Well, I got a real good deal on this used floor. This used floor came from Italy. It's about 2,000 years old, but I got a real good deal on it.
John Paul's lifestyle is so opulent, it left Robin Leach, host of Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, searching for adjectives.
The private world of John Paul is indeed a world away from anything we've ever seen, especially his homes.
Blows my mind every day. It's like, my God, this is for real. I've really been this fortunate, you know. It just blows my mind. It still does. I feel really, really fortunate.
This natural-born salesman had been fired from every job he ever held. Then one day, the guy no one would employ met a guy that no one would finance. He was Paul Mitchell, a Scottish hairdresser who had invented a hair gel. With Mitchell as the creator, JP the business brain, and a paltry $700 in capital, Paul Mitchell Systems was launched. Today, the hair care empire reaches 19 countries, with sales topping $150 million. But the roots of the DeJoria realm reach even deeper, to 17 other companies, from solar energy to a top-shelf tequila. And he's an investor in a chain of hot nightclubs called House of Blues. But business is just the beginning. John Paul wants to save the world. A devoted environmentalist, he is working to keep a tribe of Navajo Indians on their land and help stop logging in the Elk River rainforest in Oregon.
I'm very disheartened with this, and this is not very exciting. I want the money to go to whales, not to people's commissions.
John Paul Jones DeJoria of John Paul Mitchell Systems, next on Pinnacle.
Good afternoon. Thank you for calling John Paul Mitchell Systems.
Beverly Hills, California is the home of John Paul Mitchell Systems, but John Paul can rarely be found there.
Yeah, I'm at John Paul Mitchell Systems. That's the last place you find me, but today you can find me there.
John Paul prefers to work at his home base in Las Vegas or on his private jet, commuting between his 6 other residences and 17 corporations.
As long as there's a telephone, a fax machine, and a fabulous staff here and other places of the United States, we can operate the world.
He learned his management style the hard way by being fired from other beauty product companies. The experience left him down and out in Beverly Hills. You were homeless at 2 points in your life. How did that come about?
Well, the first time I was homeless is when my wife left me in my early 20s with my 3-year-old son. I came home one day, and as I walked in, my ex-wife walked out and drove away in the car, and what little was in the bank account was wiped out, so I virtually had absolutely nothing, not even a car. So I called her mother, who had a 1951 Cadillac with the hood bent over. And she was a very, very sweet lady, and she said, "You borrow my car for as long as you need it." So my son and I lived in the back of the car and went around collecting Coke bottles. In those days, you would cash in a Coke bottle for 2 cents for a little one, 5 cents for a bigger one. But in those days, people would throw Coke bottles everywhere. Now, it wasn't because I couldn't go to my mother's house and eat. I was just too proud.
He did finally accept the help and hearth of a friend, a biker he used to ride with. But when he divorced his second wife, he was out on the street again. You were kind of a loser up until then, weren't you? If I can say that? I mean,
Yes, to tell the truth, I was. Yes, I wasn't very successful.
But all that was about to change. John Paul joined forces with longtime friend Paul Mitchell, a well-known hairdresser who wanted to start a new line of hair products.
I didn't do hair, and he didn't do the business part. It was a perfect relationship. We had nothing ever to argue about.
How much money did you have in seed money when you started a partnership with Paul Mitchell?
Between Paul and I, we came up with $700, and part of that was borrowed.
That's nothing.
I know.
Just give me an idea of the evolution from 700 to like 150 million or something.
Right. Well, you're very close on that. That's about what our company is doing a year now, the one company, John Paul Mitchell Systems. But we lived on people's couches, took midnight planes, rode buses for the first year and a half that we were in business because we virtually had no money. And as we got money, we started building up our own company. And we started a new form of management, and that's what took us to our success also. Ask Luke what would happen if we ran this many. Tell him to cover with me what the price would be.
I'm sure they're not going to run them all at the same time.
There are only about 78 people here for the entire world. So John Paul Mitchell Systems has the philosophy of fewer moving parts, fewer people that do more. They're paid very well, and they do more than one job, 2, 3, 4 jobs sometimes.
As an avid recycler, JP rewards employees who bring their own utensils with free lunch. A health club is provided for his staff, and those workers who carpool get free gas.
All right, Luke, I'll see you in 1 minute. Okay.
Thank you, JP.
Sure, you bet. Excuse me? Aha! Caught you guys taking a coffee break at 6 o'clock at night. You should be home right now. What are you still doing here?
JP polished his sales technique selling Christmas cards as a kid and later encyclopedias as an adult. What do you think the most important thing that you would pass on about salesmanship is?
I would say that one is you must be enthusiastic, even if the door slammed in your face, because enthusiasm is contagious. And it really boils down to successful people do all the things that unsuccessful people don't want to do. You just got to keep plugging away till you get it. Just keep on plugging and plugging and plugging. These are the test samples right now. Let's send them to get it to 100 beauty salons in the United States, a regular associate training program, and let's see what they think about it.
More with John Paul DeJoria of John Paul Mitchell Systems when Pinnacle continues.
Great day. Come on, at the office.
Hard times bred hard work in the DeJoria household. John Paul helped support the family from the time he was 9. His immigrant parents divorced when he was just 2. At one time, they counted the entire family fortune at 27 cents.
This was really a point in my life that I'll never forget. We laughed and said that the most important thing is we are happy. Even though we have 27 cents, we are happy, we have things we could do, we have food in the refrigerator, a little garden around back.
Do you ever wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat and say, it could all be gone?
No, no.
No worries.
No worries. If it's gone, it's gone. I would say at this stage in my life that if everything disappeared,